I'm a fan of the Switch, but because I'm a huge, I love Mario, I love Mario Kart, and I love Zelda. I've believe it or not, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I've played both of those 2 times through, and the second time on whatever it's not called Heroic. I forget what it's called. But anyway, I get obsessed with the Zelda games, so I'm going to get a Switch too. And it doesn't, based on inflation and how much it costs to make a game, and frankly, the quality of games that Nintendo makes, I'm not all that upset. I can see why people are like, wow, that's a lot of money. And I get that, but it doesn't seem. Now, did I hear someplace, or maybe you said it before the show, that they're having trouble keeping up with supply anyway? So it doesn't seem to be affecting sales at this point.
Well, I'm glad you teed up the softball for me there, Marty. Thank you very much. Yes, this is crazy because we've talked about how Nintendo apparently has a bunch of Switch 2s already in the States. They're already in warehouses, ready to go. Pre-orders are opening up, I think, tomorrow at various locations. But in Japan, the Switch 2 demand has greatly exceeded what Nintendo was prepared for, according to the CEO. Now, what's interesting about this, and we'll kind of just go through this article here, according to Furukawa, who is the Nintendo president and CEO, despite Nintendo anticipating a high demand and making necessary preparations to ensure a large supply, the amount of pre-order applications they've received in Japan has far exceeded expectations significantly. So with that said, the numbers that Nintendo has publicly said was that they expected to sell 20 million units in 2025. That was their expectation. Now, when I read this and I see that the Nintendo, that the high demand was higher than they actually, exceeded expectations significantly. Let's play the Price is Right game here. Blabs, did you read this article?
I did, so I can't play.
Okay, so Marty, they're going to sell 20 million units this year.
Mm-hmm.
If they are looking at, they say this has exceeded their expectations significantly, how many pre-order requests do you think they've received?
Pre-orders. That's a good one.
These are just people applying to. Pay. Yes.
I would guess in the 10%, 15% to, 2.5 million, maybe 3 million.
Ooh, man, what a good guess. Yes. 2.2 million applications.
See, I say I'm not good with numbers, but I'm good with business. So
remember that. Let's go. Good for you, Marty. That's good. Yeah. So 2.2, but I guess that's where I kind of come from as a, that's a I don't know. I look at that and I say, you were expecting to sell 20 million units and you're saying that 2.2 million units far exceeds your expectations. I don't know. To me, that's.
Well, pre-orders, they're an indicator of what's going to happen when people start buying, and they probably haven't even already manufactured that many, because they're expecting to, once the manufacturing starts and they see the flow into the stores and distribution, then they crank it up or slow it down a little bit. So they probably were not expecting that many pre-orders, because that's quite a commitment from the consumer. So
yeah. And that's just in Japan as well, the 2.2 million. And
yeah, that's crazy.
I saw people tweeting about how there's people waiting in line. You remember the days of the midnight release? Apparently,
those are my favorite days. By the way, my favorite moments in game that was during the Magic era. That was the Camelot era of game making. It was when we would have a release, and Xbox released at midnight, Xbox 2 midnight. Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST Reach were all midnight releases. I love that period.
Well, they are. GameStop is doing midnight releases for the Switch 2, so that's going to be
cool.
So we've seen them announce that. But here's the thing, right? They talk about the pre-orders for in stores will begin April 24th. That is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, so 10 a.m. Central. Midnight releases will be held in the same stores June 5th. So when it launches, and I've seen reports, or I guess not reports, but just posts of people who are already in line right now to pre-order.
Oh my gosh!
Just to pre-order. So they're over 24 hours waiting in line. for the Switch.
I haven't even watched anything about it. Like, is it substantially look different than the Switch one? Okay, that's amazing. That's cool.
It's pretty much the exact same thing. The only difference is that there is you can take the Joy-Cons and turn it into a mouse. And
okay.
So outside of that, it's just a more powerful version of the Switch. They've added a few things, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. When you go to the store now, you're buying more or less. Blabs, what do they call it? It's a key card, not a game card. Where
it's a game key card, basically.
Game key card, yes, to where you have to put there's no data on the actual card itself, but it's more or less meant to be a
it's a key for a download.
It's a piracy. It's a piracy.
I see.
You download it, and if you have the card that you put in, then you can play the game after you download it.
Okay, which means you could give your Switch to your little brother or sister or a friend, as long as they have the key card. So see, I like that idea if that's the way it's going to work. It's sort of protects the software manufacturer people, the people who have the developers are protected, but the consumer actually owns a real thing, owns a thing they can take with them, and it's not just, oh, you're no longer connected to the internet. Yeah, and by the way, overnight we just erased a bunch of data from your machine because you don't own it. I hate that. It's just
you're a big fan of physical media.
I am.
Yeah.